Yeah.
Are you gonna do countdown or anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the countdown.
Okay.
You ready to go now?
All right.
All right.
That's good.
Let's go straight into then. 3, 2, 1, go. So here we have Cop Power, Swedish again. He is currently one of the top 2 speedrunners in Super Metroid in the world, the other being Zost, an American. This is a very technical game. It's highly, people are very respectful for it. It's got very difficult tricks, just constant non-stop action. And it's just incredibly intelligently rooted. So a lot of speedrunners have a lot of respect for this game, this run, and all the runners in it. And it does have a very active community. I've already mentioned Zost and Cop Power, but there are plenty of other guys running the game. From the great Japanese Hotorubi years ago, with his seemingly then unbeatable time. The game's been crushed since then, thanks to Cop Power, Zost, Behemoth, then other players such as Garrison, Ivan, Krauser, DBX, all these other guys. There's loads of them. We start off very simple with the escape, as does every good Metroid game. And Cop Power does have a mic, but he doesn't really want to talk much, so I will do my best to try and explain what's going on for you guys.
Bad escape, but it's okay.
That's all right.
It's only like a second boss, but
It's not even. That's
if
not
you
even
go
safe.
for the world record, it's just a reset at that point.
Yeah.
But we're not going for the world record now.
So,
Yes.
one thing you may have noticed is a lot of what is called arm pumping, which is Samus pushing her arms up and down. This saves. You move 1 pixel forward every time you do that, which over the course of the run amounts to about 1.5 seconds or something, or 3 seconds.
Over the course of the entire run, it's around 8 to 9 seconds.
There you go, 8 or 9 seconds. So.
Well, it depends on how fast you do it. Actually, it's hard to say. You can't say like how much it saves, but roughly like between like 4 to 8 seconds maybe.
So there you go. Every time that arm pump, that is intentional to move Samus just that little bit quicker. So this game, if you're very familiar with this game, and speedrunning in general, we have it's one of the top or best examples of sequence breaking, which is a game, a speedrunning concept, or rather something we do. Sequence breaking is simply playing the game not in the order you're meant to. So there was usually an intended order. You're meant to get this weapon, then go kill this boss, or you're meant to kill this boss before that boss. Sequence breaking allows speedrunners to either skip segments of the game they don't want to do, or do them in a different order. A very good example of that in Super Metroid Land is the reverse boss order. Enjoy these screens, by the way, there's a lot of them. Reverse boss order is simply fighting the bosses backwards from how you're meant to, which gives you an idea of how flexible this game is that you can even do that. But there's plenty of things here. The main one is getting super missiles early, which opens up a whole section of the map that you wouldn't normally have. Or rather, gives you tools you wouldn't normally have at that point. But one thing to bear in mind with this is that any death in this is a reset. You can't really finish the game if you die. So
That's pretty brutal. That's why this is not a good marathon game, but I do have backup saves, but hopefully I shouldn't have to use them.
So it's not that common that a death is just flat out the end of the game. Basically, saving the game takes time. We're trying to save time. So Cop Power won't save at all, because saving is for people, you know, who are taking their time.
Yeah. Won't do that.
So that means if he dies, he's back to the very beginning. So he's got the morph ball, which allows him to do a technique that is called mock balling. Mockballing simply, normally when you morph, you stop and slow down, turn into the ball, and slowly roll away. With a mockball, you keep all your momentum, which opens up a lot of options in the game, and also just generally allows you to move quicker. It means you don't have to worry about things like slowing down to go through gaps. You can just ride straight through them. And that's one dead mini-boss. So, here's good.
Oh my god. That's the backup.
This is a key example of mockballing there. If you do not mockball there, you will not be quick enough to get through that gap in time, and you will get stopped off by the walls. Instead, he just goes straight through it with the mockball, picks up Super Missile early, which opens up, as we said before, a lot of options for cop power, which he's going to use very well. But there's plenty of things in this game that you need to be thinking about at all times. Health management, missile management are two things. There are parts of the game where obviously you can't use your missiles early, otherwise you won't have enough to open certain doors and so on.
Yeah.
So now he has the super missile, he's going to head straight to Kraid. Kraid itself is an interesting fight, which we'll talk about when we get to it. You can see the sort of precise shots that are required to open doors just before you get to them, that sort of thing. So there's plenty to think about at all times in the run, which is why Cop Power is concentrating and not talking. There's an example of a damage boost there. You've seen others in that. Super Metroid has quite a big knockback when you're in the air, but he needs to turn around before he gets hit, otherwise he will get pushed back the way he was running. So he uses this quite a lot to turn around in mid-air, get hit by an enemy, and get a nice boost either across a gap or just generally to move faster. This is great.
That was great.
All right. So you need to shoot Kraid in the eyes first, and then you need to precisely time those shots so you can get the quick kill on him. If you don't hit those shots in the right timing, Kraid will go dick around for a while.
Yeah, the timing is quite precise. It requires a lot of practice.
Yeah, a lot of time and effort from speedrunners went into trying to exactly figure out what that precise timing is, and it saves a lot of time.
You only need 3 tanks, but I grabbed 4 because of safety for a marathon run. Basically.
Completely understandable. So a very interesting thing about this game is there's not much in the way of identification for a lot of these rooms without directly explaining what's in it and so on. So the solution the Super Metroid speedrun community came to for deciding how to deal with this was to give every room a unique name based on either features in the room, inside jokes and whatnot. So every room Cop Power is running through has a name that was assigned to it. I don't know if Cop Power knows what every room is called.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but there are plenty. There are rooms, key example, one I can remember is there's a room called the Cathedral, and when asked why it's called the Cathedral, nobody really knew. It's just called the Cathedral. To go with this, while they're having a burst of creativity for what to name all the rooms, they also named every trick and so on in the game with something a bit more interesting than just stutter stepping or whatever. So there's a lot of cool tricks in this game. There's one trick called the Halfie, and later they improved that trick, and it's called the Full Halfie, which is a fantastic name. So, speed booster. One little thing you might have missed there, before that door, he slowed down right before the door to avoid losing all his speed as he ran into the door, which allowed him to keep a little bit more speed. Now we have the speed booster, which allows you to run ridiculously quickly, which is great to watch. This also allows what is called short charging, where you can charge much faster than you would normally by tapping the button 3 times, then holding it, rather than just simply holding the run button. This means that you can get the fast boost speed in rooms that you're not really intended to get the fast boost speed in, which just allows you to get through the rooms quicker, or maybe do longer jumps that you would normally be able to do. So there's also a lot of examples in this game, as there is in all speedrunning, about foresight, knowing what's coming and how to deal with it. For example, in that room back there with the jump, he jumped before entering that door because he knew that if he didn't, he would lose his speed by falling into the pit. Simple stuff like that will get you a long way in speedrunning. So Colt Power does know a lot about this game. He's been speedrunning it for how long? How many years?
10 years.
10 years. So he knows it inside and out. He also has run and does run most of the other categories. There's a low percent category, which is to finish the game with as few items as possible. There's a few ways of doing that. Then there's the 100% category, which is to do everything, literally get every energy tank, every item, whatever. So you can see some more examples of the damage boosting here. And now power bomb.
Dang. Missed a cool trick.
So you have the world famous Fantoon. Very random fight. So runs live and die on Fantoon all the time. One of the few just ridiculously random sections of this game. Fantoon can cost you up to minutes of time. If they go well, you can get a time that seems unbeatable for a while. Lots of Super Metroid runners in the past have moaned that their runs were only world records because Fantoon was good and everything else was terrible. They have very high standards. So what he's done there, and he did do one earlier, this is called shine sparking, just basically using the speed boost midair. Allows you to fly around quite nicely. How does that work exactly, shine sparking? I know you're not doing anything for this bit.
Shine sparking, you run for a while holding the run button wherever you map it on the controller, and then eventually you will get blue echoes, and when you get blue echoes you just crouch and you have something called a store the spark, and then you jump up in the air and then you initiate the spark by pressing up or R. And then it's hard to explain all that. It's a lot of things going on. It's a very technical game, as you mentioned before.
That's why
there's a lot of inputs to it.
Took a little pause. Many Super Metroid runners have been asked if the item fanfare is annoying. Having to pick up the items and wait and listen to it. All of them generally agree that it's a godsend, because without it, they don't know if they'd be able to play non-stop like this for so long and keep their concentration. There's a lot going on at all times. Yep. Another example of shine sparking right there. And the sort of places it can take you. So some little trivia about Super Metroid and the speedrunning community. Originally, due to SDA ruling, the game was measured in game time, which at the end of the game, it will tell you how many minutes it took. And basically, as people started racing the game more and thinking about the rules more, they decided that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It will only ever allow people to be within a minute of one another and still essentially be tied for the record. So now the game is all timed by real time. Anything under 45 minutes is ridiculous. I think 3 people have sub 45 times at the moment. Of course, Cult Power being one of those 3. Shine sparking through the eye, very nicely done. Another little damage boost there. So now with a combination of Shine Sparking and Space Jump, there's not really any places he can't reach. So, some of you may have noticed that he's only just got the Ice Beam. Due to the mockballing, Shine Sparking, and other tricks, he's been able to go through areas that normally you're meant to have the Ice Beam for, and is only just now picking it up. So this sort of idea gives you an idea of more examples of sequence breaking in this game. And one item he doesn't require at all is the spacer, so he just doesn't get it. So just there, by opening that other door but not actually going through it, it gives them enough time to get the speed required to head through here. Ice Beam now able to be used to jump on enemies and so on. Nice little sneak over there. So just in general, Metroid is another series with a lot of history. Metroid Prime, the 3D Metroid on the GameCube, was the first game accepted on SDA that wasn't Quake. So it opened up the whole sort of speedrunning website for SDA for other people. Metroid, just about all the other Metroids have been run. Metroid 2002 is one of the oldest speedrunning communities still active. They run pretty much every Metroid game as you could possibly imagine. From Metroid on the NES up to probably not Other M, but I'm sure someone's tried it. And now we have Ridley. All right. So you can see sort of again the idea of just like the instant that charge is ready, the shot's fired, aimed. Well, aimed then fired, rather. But yeah, Metroid, all the Zero Mission, Fusion, those have been run. Metroid, Super Metroid, Metroid 2 has been run. Cool Kid, the guy playing Quake at the beginning of this segment, he also has run Metroid 2. Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 have all been run. Someone yelled at me that Other M has actually been run. It's a very active community. And as I said, Super Metroid gets the most respect. Although, actually, Metroid Prime is an incredible run as well. If you're a fan of Metroid Prime, go watch Miles play Metroid Prime. There'll be a YouTube video. I cannot remember what his time is, but that's one of the classic runs, and Miles recently crushed it, probably in the last year or two. So you see, over half an hour into this run, and he doesn't care about saving, just flies right through that save point.
Yeah, the final missile pack I got in Lower Norfair, I only got it because of safety, because there is a lot of randomness in Torian, the final section of the game. If you don't get enough missile drops from the Metroids, you can't finish the game, basically, so you don't want that to happen.
This has led to many embarrassing marathon moments from other runners, not Copal, where they have been constantly farming Metroids to try and get these packed, or going back to fight other enemies to get the missiles required to kill the boss. Those aren't fun. They're funny to watch, but for the runner it's pretty torturous, so a little bit of safety for a marathon run. In a real attempt, a world record attempt, he wouldn't have gone and got that pack. All 4 bosses dead. Zone opens up. Low percent allows you to not kill these bosses, right? Or do you still have to kill them? He's playing with bombs. So climbing with the morph ball isn't actually necessary in any percent, but it gives you an idea of what you can do with it. This sort of thing is also very important in Metroid Prime, so it's quite a significant thing in the Metroid. So now the boss is dead, he's going to head into the final zone of the game. Off to fight Mother Brain. So he actually got a damage boost off those Metroids as he killed them, which pushed him through the door even quicker, which is quite incredible.
Yeah.
Alright, so that normally that Metroid is meant to drain you of all your energy. Skipping it saves a lot of time, you don't have to watch the energy drain animation and so on. So good job there. Normal brain here. Thankfully, a lot easier in Super Metroid than in Metroid 1. But there's more. How are you going to kill Mother Brain today, Kolpow?
By shooting charge shots. Very simple.
There you go.
It's kind of funny how the final boss fight of the game is the most simple one.
It's the way in quite a few games.
Yeah.
So, he took a little hit there so that this draining wouldn't take as long.
Yeah, correctly.
It's a very common but very often overlooked speedrun thing. Try and take as much damage in places where you do need to die. There's a bunch of ways of killing this boss. All vary in speed depending on whether you're going for game time or what. A fan favorite is the murder beam, but it lags the game so hard it actually takes longer to kill in real time than it does in game time. So it's actually slower despite being called the murder beam, which is pretty sweet. So again, with one less energy tank, this will be a bit faster. But for some marathon safety, you don't want to risk it. Rest in peace, sweet Metroid. Alright. All that's left now is to escape. And he won't be saving those animals. The animals are gonna die. Kolpow's no hero. Alright, here we go. Metroid escape. Right. All right, here we go. That's it.
That's it. It's done.
Sub 46. It wasn't until long ago that sub 46 would have beaten the world record by about 3 or 4 minutes. Really good job. All right. Do you care about your game time?
It's gonna be 30. I'm 100% sure about it.
Okay. Oh boy. So yeah, very clean run. We got Cop Power predicts 30. There you go. All right, cool. One more time for Cop Power, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, we'd like to thank you for watching this little speedrun exhibition. You can check us out in Hall C in the corner. There's a bright light where the games are. Some stream stuff's going on. We'd like to thank DreamHack for inviting us here, which is pretty cool.